The only difference between what we're doing here today and what I do on a normal daily basis, and for a lot of you guys, what you guys are doing, is that I've just been doing it longer. And that's the truth, right? Like every project that I do, I get better at it. You know, every project that I do, I make a mistake. Every project that I do, I learn something. So what I do is teachable, or you guys wouldn't be here. What I do is not like brain science, because I wouldn't be here if it was. And what I do works because if you look around, there's cranes and there's stuff being built everywhere, right? So the biggest thing, guys, is the difference. So if it can be done and people are doing it, what's the difference? The difference is you guys. That's the difference, okay? It's you individually and what you're going through right now. So as we go through this day, I know you guys will come here and going, oh, I'm gonna learn how to build. Yeah, you are. But I can teach you guys how to learn how to build, make money, and succeed in what you're doing if I can help you guys understand and realize that you'll never, ever in your life hit the level of success that you can. And you can't get there happy if you haven't worked on those other three elements that are more important than the financial part of it. Because once you get there, if you're broken in any one of those other areas, the finances don't matter, guys. Because really making a living and living well is pretty easy. You don't need a lot of money. Like how many of you guys in here, by show of hands, have ever spent 100% on yourself? God bless you. How many of you guys have ever spent 100% of $250,000 a year on you? Raise your hand. He's like, I bought a car. Okay, so one person. Okay, so watch. In point because we've done it too. But the point is that you guys are all sitting here. I know some of you guys in here, and some of you guys are sitting here have a really good life. But even me, myself, I've never spent $250,000 on me, myself, like on vacations and doing this stuff. So you can live an extremely good life if you just had $250,000 a year to just spend on yourself and blow on yourself, yeah? You don't even need the millions of dollars. And you can have a really good life. So the whole point being is, if we can get the elements of your mental elements of where you need to be with faith, family, and fitness in order, the money thing comes together really, really easy. And that's the truth, okay? Okay, so, cool. We got a good group here. We're expecting about 80 to 100 people. We kind of limited it to that. So I think we're gonna be good at that spot. And I think most of you guys are here. So look, guys, how many of you guys in here have already invested in at least one piece of real estate outside of your single family home? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. So most of you guys. How many of you guys have done more than 2 deals? Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you guys have done more than 5? Keep your hands up if you've done more than 5. How many of you guys have done more than 10 deals over your career? Keep your hand. Almost the same amount as 5, a few less. How many of you guys have done more than 20 deals? Raise your hand. Okay, so about 6 people. Cool. Okay, now, if you do residential, raise your hand. Let's get a feel for where you guys are at. How many of you guys do commercial investing? Raise your hand. Okay, so 3, 4, 5 of you guys. Okay. Now, if you guys want to scale from residential into commercial, raise your hand. Okay. Cool. You guys will see a little bit of how what I'm doing now is different than what we were talking about even just a year ago. Okay. And so one of the big things, guys, right now is that banking is compromising the way deals are getting done. Okay. Is banking getting done? Yes. If you guys follow my social media, on June 25th, we break ground on a $70 million development right here in Phoenix. It's on West Camelback. I own a lot that I bought about a year and a half ago, right across from GCU University. It's an infill lot that I purchased for $2.6 million, and we're going vertical with 208 units, okay? And so we're getting lending. Lending on that is ridiculous. It's stupid. It's not even like, I'm not even gonna brag about it, so I won't even tell you guys about it because there's nothing to brag about. Okay, we're getting scorned on our lending, but we're able to do it because we own 100% of it. We don't give up the equity on it, so the equity play on it is what allows that project to be viable. Plus, guys, and listen to this because I'm going to talk about this today. Plus, we're not taking any development fees. We're not taking any asset management fees. We build them for free. So I work on those, and I don't make any money for about 3 years. Okay. And this is important because how many of you guys can afford to live for 3 years without any income? Raise your hand. No. So one person. And that's Art, because Art does what we do. Okay. So we have one person that can live for 3 years without any income. So how many people think that it'd be great to have a business model where you can work for free for 3 years to have assets that produce revenue for you for the rest of your life? Because that asset will produce over $1 million a year in passive income for me for the rest of my life. How many people would work for free for 3 years if you knew you were going to get $1 million in passive income for the rest of your life? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, if you knew you were going to get a $62 million tax write-off that doesn't expire after you're done building it, how many people would work for free for 3 years if you just have to pay taxes for the next few years? Okay. All right. So that's why we build them. Now, guys, here's what's cool is that our business model has always been this. It isn't like a business model I said, hey, let me pull this business model out of my pocket and teach you guys. It's a business model that I've been doing my whole life. And some people say, hey, why does Jerome still build houses? Because I work for free, guys. And so the reason I build houses is because I could build 2 to 4 houses a year, make $1 million net out, and I'm able to work on all these other big projects that cash flow. The money that comes out of those projects goes to more projects. So they go, why don't you just live off your cash flow? Because we're developing, we're going in. We went from doing $20 million projects to, in a year to doing like $60 million a year. Now we're over $100 million a year. It takes capital to do that stuff. Okay, but here's what's cool. It doesn't take a lot of capital to live. How many of you guys would love just to be able to go in and make about $150,000 a year part-time building houses? Raise your hand. Okay. How many people in here are here to learn the ground up game? Raise your hand. That way I get a feel. Okay. Good little amount of you guys. Cool. All right. How many of you guys have ever done ground up construction before? Okay. Shit, man. We got a good little crowd here today. It's a good experience. You guys got some good leaders in here in Phoenix, because you guys got Paige, you guys got Cody, you guys got Carlos, you guys got a few good people here in town, don't you? Yeah? No? They're not as good as me. I'll tell them all that. Record that. Send that to Cody. Carlos is in Mexico with Cole right now. I'm supposed to be in Mexico with those guys. Send that over to Cody. Send that over to Brian. No, they're all my friends. We actually have to get the audio? Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me back there anyways? A little bit? No? Okay, cool. Then I'll get a little closer. Okay, I usually talk pretty loud anyways. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today, guys. I think the vast majority, I was kind of waiting for the commotion and stuff and everybody kind of sit down. Okay, guys, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to teach you guys how to buy land, build houses. We're going to teach you guys how to scale it to over $1 million in less than 3 years, okay, in 36 months. And I'm going to go through it step by step. Okay, on what every month looks like, on how to do that. And I'm going to explain to you guys where that money comes from. And then I'm going to show you guys how to scale that into just an 8-unit apartment complex and what that will do for you. Because how many of you guys want to make $1 million over the next 3 years net, like in your pocket? Okay? How many of you guys want to pay $400,000 of that to the IRS in taxes? Okay? How many of you guys want to work for the next 3 years and then give 40% or better to the IRS? Anybody? Okay, because if you do, I'm going to give you my address to send it to me. Okay, and then I'll take it, and I won't pay any taxes on it. So right at the end, guys, what I'm going to show you guys is how we actually take that revenue and we scale into assets, large holdings that you guys can go roll into and pay no taxes on, and then have also passive income. Okay, and pay no taxes on. I'm going to show you guys how to do that tax-free. Okay, now one of the big things, guys, is where does it come from? Now, here in Arizona, land is not expensive, but I'll tell you guys, it still is extremely, extremely profitable. The same lots that I was buying like up in Cave Creek for like $100,000 10 years ago are now like $200,000. But the same house that I was building for $750,000 up there is now like $1.4 million, $1.5 million. Okay? So the price of the lot is, yes, it's went up, but the profitability is also went up. And also the cost to build, but profitability went up a lot more. Where we used to make about $200,000 on those homes up in Cave Creek, now you can go in there and make like $350,000 on some of those homes up there. Okay, now that's just where I was living. There's opportunity all over the place, guys, here in the valley, all over the place. There are so many different infill opportunities, plus there's a lot of redevelopment opportunities all over the place. And here's what we look for, guys. Here's what we look for. I wish we had a cordless mic, but I can do it like this. Check it out. Okay, so here in Arizona, guys, I want you guys to understand where the profit and the safety is in the upper median, okay? It's the upper 24% of our financial demographic. So when we go in, guys, I want you guys to not look at homes under $700,000 here in Arizona, and I want you guys to look at homes I really would like you guys to stay under $1 million. Okay, but I know that it's tough in a couple areas, and there's some areas, but if you go over $1 million, guys, stay really close to that. And the reason why is because the business model works like this, and it works nationwide, guys. We've been recession-proof in this. Now, may you land up staying in the market with a house for 30, 60, even 90 days right now in this current market? Yeah, and I'll tell you why. People are retracting. Look, guys, there is what the National Association of Realtors tells us. They say, okay, if there's 5 million homes on the market, 5 million across the nation, we're in an even market. A market where it's not a buyer's market, it's not a seller's market, it's an even market, okay? Right now, nationwide, there's 1.3 million homes on the market right now. That's not even a third of where we need to be even in a level playing field. So you would think that these houses would be just popping off the market right away, wouldn't you? But they're not. Houses are sitting a little longer right now. It's taking 60 days, 30 days to get these houses moved, okay? And the reason why is because the American people, they've retracted. Because Jerome Powell, right, he sat back and he's going, we're going to keep interest rates high because we're trying to control inflation. It's the stupidest fucking thing that they can do, guys. And excuse my language, but it is retarded. It is dumb. It's the stupidest thing they can do, guys. Jerome Powell needs to just lower interest rates and stimulate the economy again because they're worried about inflation. They don't need to worry about inflation, guys, because here's what the American people are doing right now. There's 1.3 million houses on the market, okay? And the American people aren't buying. They said, no more. We're done. We're stopping. We're not buying no more, okay? And so the market has slowed down in spite of the lack of inventory. Now, if interest rates just got lowered, those homes would all sell and it would still push the economy for building. So tract builders have now retracted. So why am I telling you guys all this negative stuff and I'm trying to tell you guys go build houses? Here's why. Because nationwide, guys, when you look at it on a supply and demand variable, and when you look at this from where we need to be and where we are today, this won't last forever because we as Americans love living in debt. We just do. You know, how many of you guys have a credit card that you guys wish you had paid off, but it's not paid off because it's maxed out with God knows what? Raise your hand. Almost everybody, we love buying stuff, guys, and that's the thing. And Americans do too. So the second that we make money a little bit more available to utilize, guys, the market will stimulate back to where it needs to be. And then if prices get too high, the exact same thing that happened right now is going to happen again, where people will say, no more, we're not paying that much for houses, we're not paying that much for rent. Why? Because we can't afford it, okay? And so the market organically will take its own course and it will heal itself because it always has. Do you know that this is the first time in history that the feds have ever stepped in to control interest rates, to control inflation? Do you guys realize that? This has never been done before, guys. Like Jerome Powell, it's the first time in history that the feds have stepped in to control inflation. All other times in history, guys, finances have controlled themselves. It has taken its own course of action to stabilize the market. It's the first time that the feds have stepped in. And now, are they doing this to control the market, or are they doing this to control you guys, us? What's the real truth? Okay, so this is going to become a renter's nation, guys. You guys ever heard of the Great Reset? You guys ever heard of that? Yeah? Okay, how many people love the Great Reset? Own nothing, do nothing, and you're just happier, right? Because life's just easier. Guys, what's happening right now is that some of the large corporations like BlackRock and others, they're going to take over the rental market. They're going to take over the housing market. They're going to own over a third of the houses that are on the market for rent in just the next few years. Now, you guys can either play in this field or you guys can live in this field. And it's up to you guys. Okay? How many of you guys would rather play and earn in this field than go in and be taken in this field? Okay? And that's what we're talking about today. And I'm going to tell you guys, because everybody needs to talk, I'm going to talk about this. You guys need to vote smart this year. Okay? Doesn't matter if you like the guy that's the orange guy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, guys. You guys, how many people in here are not real estate investors? Raise your hand. Not real estate investors. Non-real estate investors. Okay, come on. Okay, so look, guys, everybody else except for the 4 people that are not real estate investors right now, you guys need to vote smart this year. If you guys want to live in a capitalistic country for the rest of your lives, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are as far as whether you like somebody or not. You guys have to vote smart this year. This is the most important year that you guys vote smart, okay? Because it's going to depend on where our economy goes with entrepreneurship and capitalism. You guys get it? Okay? I can't speak to the whole country, but I can speak to you guys, and I can speak to these people that are in here, okay? I got a violation warning for cussing. I won't cuss. I'm reading, I'm like violation for hate language, they call it.
That's bomb.
All right, sorry. It was either that or talking about the orange man. Okay, cool, guys. Now, when we go in, guys, here in Arizona, okay, $700 to $1 million, okay, is where you guys want to be. Now, when you guys go in and you guys look for land in those areas, don't pay more than a couple $100,000. If you pay, on a $700,000 bill, about $125,000 to $130,000 lot is where you want to be. Okay. Now, if you guys go in, you know what? Do you guys have a dry erase mark? Is there an eraser for this board too? Do we have an eraser by chance back there?
It's on that cap.
It's where?
Your cap. Cap is marker.
Oh, that's okay, so look, guys, we go in $130,000 for the lot if you're here. Okay, now if you're over here at the 100,000, you guys can spend someplace in the neighborhood of about 200K. Okay, for a lot. Now this is for your lot. Now, here in the valley, you guys can find. Thank you. In case you get stuck, brothers. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Now, when we go in and do this, guys, let's say that we take someplace in the middle here. Let's say we take like an $800,000 bill. Okay, so 800K. Now, if we spent, let's say, $150,000 on a lot, 150K. Let's say that this house is 2,500 square feet. Okay, and I actually have this going on right now back home. We actually have 2 of those under construction right now. Okay, I won't tell you guys to do anything that I'm not also doing. Okay, I've built out here. I built in New Mexico. I built in Washington State. I'm building all over the place right now. We have West Camelback coming out of the ground now on June 25th. And then we have our 150 unit apartment complex called Eco 150. That's over in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. That's a $44 million development. We break ground on that in July. And then we have our Taylor Street project right here in downtown Phoenix. That's a 30 unit development that we're going to be breaking ground on sometime in September. Okay, so we have those 3 projects that we break ground on over the next like 60, 90 days. And so altogether, it's about $150 million worth of projects, plus what we have going on in Washington and New Mexico. Okay, now, when we do this, guys, let's say the lot is $150. That's expensive for an $800,000 lot, but they're out here, guys. Now, lots in land here in Arizona is expensive, but those people that say that they can't find those lots is because they're not looking hard enough. You don't have enough bandwidth for deal flow, because those lots are available and they're out there. But a lot of your homes, a lot of your lots out here are going to be right here in this $200,000 range. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so if we're going to pay in this $200,000 range, you guys want to play a little higher? You guys want to play closer to that $900,000 mark? Go ahead.
How big are these lots for 130?
Doesn't matter. As long as you can fit a single family home that's about 2,500 square feet on it. And the houses, guys, can range anywhere from like 1,500 square feet all the way up to about 2,800 square feet. I wouldn't push over that 3,000 square foot mark, because right now, economically, people aren't buying what they want, they're buying what they need. People are sophisticated, though, in this market today. And so one of the big things that you guys have to understand is that houses sell in this market, but they sell to people that are smart. They're people like our parents, people that have owned 2, 3 homes before, people that are empty nesters. Those are your buyers. And right now, they constitute for about 16% of cash buyers on the market. Okay, all homes that are being sold, there's about 16% of them that are being sold cash. The vast majority of them are being sold cash in this realm right here. Okay, and so when you go in, if you're building houses, guys, don't build big houses, because once you get big, People won't buy those homes because they're not going to buy what they want right now. They're going to buy what they need. And in any recessionary market, it's super important that you guys understand that you stay within a realm that you're building something that people are in need of. Okay? Now, for some of you guys that are sitting back thinking, okay, well, I can't go out and I can't afford $1 million home for myself. When I started building, I couldn't afford a $400,000 house when I started building in 1999 for myself. I had a 460 credit score, guys. So if you're sitting back right now and you're sitting back thinking, well, I can't afford to build a house like that, it's because you don't understand banking. And one of the biggest things about banking that you need to understand is that it's different than getting a single family home mortgage. It's completely different. Commercial lending and investment lending is the banks are looking at an entirely different realm. The underwriting doesn't pertain to your debt to income ratio and your debt to income ratio in itself. What your lending depends on is comps, okay? So 100% of everything that you do, when we do this, guys, is dependent on validation. It's all dependent on comps in the area. If you can't get the validation that the numbers in the area that you're building support the numbers that we're doing for resale, the bank won't lend you money, okay? But I'm going to show you why the bank will lend you money if you have a set of plans and something they can appraise. As long as you're trustworthy, like you're credit worthy, and you have enough support and experience to be able to support the build, they'll lend to you. Now, if some of you guys sit back going, Jerome, but I don't have any experience. That's where you land up going in and hiring somebody like a Jay or somebody like an Art or a general contractor that they have experience, and then you hire them, you put them to work. And there's a few different ways to hire general contractors, but you put them to work because they have the experience you don't have. You could still own the project, but you put those people to work because you vet their experience for your loan. So the bank is only looking at you as a credit-worthy individual, and they're looking at your project as a financially worthy project. And then they're looking at your contractor as a resume professional to be able to get the entire project done. Does that make sense? Now, that was a lot of different little moving pieces. Want to repeat that one more time? Okay, one more time? Okay. The bank, I don't even remember what I said, but I'll just say it more or less in the same fashion, right? Because I just do is I go, I don't even prepare for these guys. I always tell my wife, she goes, you know what you're gonna talk about? I'm like, yeah, what I do every freaking day. What I do every day for my life, you know? So I don't prepare for any speech. So if you guys ever see me get in front of a room, I never prepare for any speech. I just go out there and I just do what I do, okay? So look, guys, if the banks are looking at you only as a credit-worthy individual, okay? They're looking at your project as a financially worthy project. Does that make sense? So they want your plans to be able to be supported by the validation of comps in that area, okay? So the comps have to support the build. If the build is supported with comps and you have a build that's supported in that area, the bank will lend money on that project because it's viable. Does that make sense? So what you guys are missing is, what is that? Like, what's that viable project? That's what I'm talking about right here. This is the viable project based on comps in the area. So now you hire a contractor, the bank is looking at their experience to vet for the professional experience they need to lend the money. You put those three elements together, you don't have to have the experience. You just have to have those three elements, a set of blueprints that's validated with comps in that area. You have to be a credit-worthy individual, and if you don't, then you're going to have to get hard money or you're going to have to get private money until you get yourself to a place where you're credit-worthy, right? And you need a contractor, somebody has the experience. Once you have those things, you can build. Now, if you are a contractor, the good news is you don't have to give up as much of the profit. You can keep and retain that. But even if you do, you can go in and you can make some profits on this. Now, I was surprised to see that the price nationwide per square foot actually dropped about $9 a square foot nationwide on the average price per square foot to build. According to the National Association of Home Builders in May, they said that the average home to build, the average cost to build a house is down to $142 a square foot. Now, it's not costing me that. It's costing us close to about $155 a square foot right now to build our homes. And I'll tell you that at $155 a square foot, we build a really nice home. Now, that's our cost as a contractor building that home. So let's say that you hire somebody at 10 or 15% we do what's called a cost plus model. So let's say you hire a contractor where you do a 15%, you do a cost plus model of 15% of the cost of materials plus labor to go in and build that house. Okay, so you get a contractor, and that contractor works for you based on the subcontractors and the materials and supplies, and they make 15% over the top of that. Okay, so you're going to be someplace in that neighborhood of about like $170 a square foot, give or take. So if we go in and we do 170 a square foot, our cost to build. You guys have anybody have a calculator on their phone? Anybody? Does anybody have a calculator on their phone? Anybody? One person?
We all do.
Can you guys help me? Help me with this, guys. If you guys get 2,500 square feet times 170. Do 2,500 times 170. What is it? 425? Okay, now here's what I want to do, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this house closer here in Phoenix. I just know the Phoenix market right now, and I know the reality of this market. Okay, and I'm going to need to get rid of this, and I'm just going to use this $200,000 lot. And let's even just do the house at $200,000 per lot. Let's just do the house at like $950,000, guys. I want to stay under that $1 million. Okay, so we'll do a $950,000 house. Okay, and let's say this is our resale price. Now, if we go in and we pay $200,000 for the lot, okay, this is our lot price. Let's actually do 180 a square foot because we need to build a little bit nicer house. So let's take that from 425 up to, what is that, 450 then? Is that going to be 450,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so our build cost is going to be 450. Okay, so we're going to do build cost is 450K. Okay, now if you guys can multiply, you're going to have 3% to your buyer's broker, 3% to your seller's broker, and you're going to have at least 1% to close. Okay, so that's 7%. So let's take 7% of $950,000. Take 7% of 950. What is it? No, just take the $950,000 and just give me 7%. What's the number? Is that about 70,000? 65,000? Okay, so 65,000. So our resale cost is equal to about $65,000. Okay, now we're going to have some debt service on this too. Okay, now the way we do debt service, guys, let's say you're paying 10% on this, and you're only going to pay on your land. This is going to be 200, right? 200. You're going to pay on the land and the build only. So you're going to have $650,000. Now take 650 and multiply that times 10%. That's $65,000, right? Okay, now. The way lending works is the good rule of thumb is about 30% of that is going to be your debt service because you don't have the debt service at that $650,000 all at one time. The loan escalates. So you get the land, you pay interest on just that one that month. And we always pull back a month. So everybody's always a month later on their payment. And the reason we do that is to save on our debt service. And so what I mean by that is if you do your work in the month of May, you have to bill by May 28th. Now, May 28th, we pay out June 10th because we put that time into the bank to be able to get our draws. And so we're always 30 days behind on our debt service. So we always carry a little bit. Our suppliers are carrying a little bit. And so it helps us soften our blow on our debt service. Every builder does it that way. Now, so when you do that, take 30% of that number. So you take 65,000. What's 30% of $65,000? 19,000? So you're going to have about $19,000 in debt service if you carry that debt for an entire year. Most of you guys won't carry that debt for an entire year, but even if you carry it for an entire year, you have about $16,000. Okay, so 16K in debt service. Now, our total cost. Okay, what is 16,000 plus 65? What is this? 450, so 650. So we got 650, 715, 731,000. Is that right? If I add 200, 450, 65, and 16, is that 731,000? Is that correct?
Add that up, check my math. I always do that with the teller at the bank. I'll add them all up, but check my math. 90% of the time I get it right. Is it right? Come on, guys, it's like 100.
731.
731.
All right, so we got 731. Now we take 950
Minus 731. That's 100 and, what is that, guys? That's 100 and, what is it? 219. 219. Okay. Okay, so $219,000 net profit. Jay, is this feasible? Can you build a house for 185? Or 180, we did 180, right? $180 a square foot in this market? A really nice house, right? Jay's up in Flagstaff. I'm gonna be up in Flagstaff tomorrow. So, he's up in Flagstaff building $1 million. You still building $1 million homes up there?
I'm not,
What are you building now?
building for a retreat center.
Yeah,
Yeah, commercial.
commercial stuff. He was building big custom homes out in, up in the Flagstaff area for a long time. So you're building like $3 million homes, $2 million homes and stuff for a while, right? Yeah. And so you could, and the reason I asked him, Mark, can we build at $180 a square foot right now? A nice house, right? A damn nice house. And so we're building these same type of houses, guys, right now for about $155 a square foot. Really pretty nice houses. Okay, so I'm just asking for their validation because I know these guys are already building. They're kicking ass in the market. Okay, so $219,000 profit, guys. Let's say that you guys made some mistakes and you guys have some contractors and different folks that you guys hired, paid a little too much money. Maybe your debt service was a little more expensive because you had to get a hard money lender to lend you money, or you had to get a private money lender that you had to do a little equity stake in, and maybe you had to shave off another $50,000 off of that profit. So now you're making someplace in the neighborhood of about 170 on a build. How many of you guys would build a house that took you 6 months to build for $170,000 profit? Anybody? Okay. Now, I would. So here's the thing, guys. So let's say that we make $170,000 profit, okay? You guys want to know the month-by-month process of how to get to $1 million? You guys want to learn that?
Yes.
Yeah? We're going to show you guys what you need to do to execute over the next 3 years?
Yes.
To hit $1 million net in your bank without paying any taxes. Okay, now, how many of you guys feel like this is overwhelming? Raise your hand. Be honest, guys. Raise your hands. If you feel like this is a little overwhelming, raise your hands. 2 people? There's only 2 people that are not lying. Guys, this is overwhelming for a lot of people, right? Right? I mean, how many of you guys feel like, yeah, like this is a lot to absorb, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so look, guys, at the end, I'm going to be, what I'm going to do today is, at the end of this, I'm going to be looking for 5 people that are action takers that can come in and work with us under our wing. And there's always an investment to work with us, guys. It's an investment in you guys. And I'm going to do 5 of you guys. I'm sorry?
I'm here.
You care?
I'm here.
You're here. Well, I love you, man. I'm glad you're here, and I love you for being here. So I'm going to look for 5 action takers at the end of this, guys. And so as I'm going through this today and I'm explaining this to you guys, I want you guys to really sit back and think and go, look, am I one of the action takers that he's talking about? Because I can afford on my time to work with 5 of you guys, and I can work with all of you guys, but 5 of you guys I want to take under my wing. Now, the rest of you guys, how many of you guys would like to go and spend an entire day with me up in Dallas at the end of June and be able to come in and spend an entire day at a workshop learning how to do this in depth, where you have spreadsheets and everything? How many of you guys would like to do that? Okay, at the end of this, I'm going to invite you guys to come hang out with me in Dallas for a full day. Okay, now here's the thing, guys. Do you think it'd make it a lot easier if you had a spreadsheet that broke this down line item by line item, step by step, and it gave you sequential order of what you need to do? How many people think that would be valuable? Raise your hand. Okay, we'll get that for you guys. We'll get you guys a step-by-step model, exactly what you need to do in sequential order. And the spreadsheets are already put together. They're ours. They're the same ones we use in our office, guys. So if you guys go to Dallas or you're one of our action takers, you guys will have those. You guys can utilize that stuff. Now, we're going to take this $170,000, okay? This is where the money comes from. I want you guys to just pay attention to that $170,000. Now, usually I'll put this on one board, but because we're a little bit limited on space here, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put this down for a second. Cody and I need to have a little talk. What happened to my cordless labs? my cordless labs, so I can be mobile, like I can use my hands. I'm like fumbling through. Cody added water, man. His whiteboard went from that to that. I'm gonna get Cody on the phone in a second. Okay. No, truth be told, I'm grateful for Cody and Nikki and the team. They're awesome. Those guys are business partners of mine, by the way. We just bought a 63 acre parcel down in Sholo, Arizona. You guys know where Sholo is? You guys know where Sholo, Arizona is? We're doing a 450 unit storage facility over in Sholo, Arizona, Cody and I. And we're going to be doing, we got 450 units of self-storage. We got 150 units of multifamily. We got 100 single-family custom home pad sites. And we got a bunch of modular homes that we're doing up there. Like, I can't remember, I think like 220, I think. We're still working on the density. So it's a cool development. And we've got a camping area, and the river runs straight through our property. And so there's rocks, and it's badass. It's really freaking cool. It's like this, like I walked in and I was like, shit, we own this river. Like it's like a real river. Like, it's not a stream. It's like a real friggin' river, man, like running through your property. And I'm like, this is cool. And it's like big giant boulders. Like you guys go fishing, like out and anybody do like river fishing, like fly fishing on a river? I don't know if this river's fit stock, but I was like, damn, this thing's cool. You could like jump from rock to rock, like freaking actually cast a line in there, and you can fly fish. You know. So, anyways, it's a cool property. So we're a business part, so I'll bust up. I am gonna bust them off this kind of whiteboard, by the way. Okay, guys, month 1 through 3. Okay, now let's say that it takes you guys 3 months, because I know that most of you guys are sitting here going, "Where the hell do I even go to find a lot right now here in Arizona for $200,000?" There's a few of you guys that know where to go. A lot of you guys don't know where to go. And let's say it takes you 3 months just to go out and figure out exactly where to go to find the right lot, okay? Maybe you go back, you leave here today, you're excited, you sit back and go, shit, I want to implement this. Then you go in tomorrow and you wake up and you're like, you know what, I ain't gonna do this. I'm just gonna continue flipping burgers at McDonald's. Then the next day you're gonna sit back and go, okay, I'm excited. I hate my manager, I hate my boss, I'm gonna go out and do something else. I'm just joking about the McDonald's thing. But then you're gonna sit back, you're gonna have this emotional roller coaster, this little pit in your stomach going, you know what, I can do this. And you're like, oh, second guess yourself. You're gonna have 3 months of that till you find the right lot. Then you're gonna sit back and you're gonna go watch my video on my 5-day land challenge on how to find land. You're gonna sit back and go, okay, I'm excited again. And then you're gonna go back 3 months of that, and it takes you 3 months to find land, okay? So month number 3, you find land. Okay, month number 3 through 6, or actually month number 3, 4, and 5, month 3, 4, and 5, we're going to get permits ready, okay? What does that look like? We're getting surveys. The second we find the lot, we get a survey, we're going to get an architect, and we're going to get your civil engineer, okay? You're going to have your surveyor survey it. You're going to use an app called Landglide. If you guys don't have Landglide, get it when you find a lot, because then you don't have to wait 2 weeks for your survey company to give you your survey. You can go in and right on Landglide, you can just go in and you can get the dimensions of your lot for $99 a month. And you can take those dimensions of that lot, or get Google Earth and send them over to your architect and have your architect start platting that house for you, okay? That 2,500 square foot house, have that architect start platting that house for you so that you can go in and start working with your, working on permits. And you can start working on your site development. You can get your architect going. Because once you get your survey, this guy can get going. This architect is who takes time, okay? That'll take you at least 2 months with going back and forth with an architect on what you're gonna build. Now, once you do permits, once you get your plans ready, now month number, let's say it takes you 60 days to get permits, okay? Now, depending on the municipality that you're dealing with, it's gonna be different. Some areas, guys, you guys will come into and you'll be able to get permits in 2 or 3 weeks. Some other municipalities, it'll take you a couple months. If it's like Washington State, it might take you an entire friggin' year, okay? Because that's what it takes me in Washington State. But the vast majority of the United States, plan review takes between 30 and 60 days, okay? So you're gonna take month number 6 and 7. You're gonna be a plan review, okay?
You haven't made any money, okay? You keep doing what you're doing. This is a part-time deal, guys, to be able to come in and make money, okay? Getting started is the hardest thing. So you continue doing sub 2. You continue doing, whatever you're doing with wholesaling, whatever you're doing in investing right now, you continue doing it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, $170,000 of part-time income, getting this going, is more than most people make in a year in the U.S. population. The average median income in the U.S. is $82,000 per year, okay? So why not double that and do something like this as a part-time supplemental income to be able to get you into the investment game, to start putting you in a place where you can go out and start creating institutional wealth for you and your family. And not even not generational wealth, guys, but even just revenue, just revenue to be able to go out and make life changes that'll change not just your life, but your family's life forever, to give them a better quality of life, okay? And it's work, guys. I'm not saying that this stuff is easy. This takes work, okay? So any of you guys that are doing this and you guys want like an easy road, this is not it. This is work. And it will be work, but it's lucrative work. And it's work that will support you forever, okay? Now, month number 6 and 7, you're in plan review. Now, it's going to take you guys somewhere between 5 and 6 months to build this house. So if you take month number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, you're going to build. Okay, so you're going to build from month 7 to 12. Okay, and this whole time, guys, from months, these are your months. You're going to go through the entire process. Now, when you're going through this, how many of you guys feel like it would be a lot easier to have a step-by-step sequence of exactly what you need to do? Raise your hand. Okay, yeah. It would, and it'll save you a lot of time knowing exactly what you need to do step by step, sequence by sequence, to be able to do this. Now, how many of you guys have ever fixed and flipped a house before or had a rental home that you fixed up? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up. If you've ever renovated a rental home or you've ever done a fix and flip. Okay, shit, man. About a little over a third of the room. That's awesome. Okay, so if you've ever done that, you're qualified to do this. Because that, what you guys did, fix and flipping, is way more work than doing this, okay? So I know that when you see a tangible 4 corners on a house, it seems like that's easier because you're sitting back and you can touch it and feel it. When you go out there and you see a vacant lot, most people sit back and go, they don't see the tangibility of it, so they think it's more work. But the reality is, when you go in and you do a fix and flip, there's so many unforeseen variables behind that sheetrock and behind that stucco, you don't know what you're getting into. And so you might have a $30,000 expense that you never even accounted for with a heating and cooling system, with an electrical system that doesn't meet code, and now you have to bring up to code. A roof that you thought was okay, that's not okay, that needs to be replaced. There is so many different variables with a fix and flip, and typically the average fix and flip, you're gonna make between $30,000 and $50,000. And if you have any type of modification that you did not expect, or the market compresses on you, guess what happens to that profit? It goes, it disappears, guys. And in 2008, I made money on every single bill that I did, that I had up, in spite of the market recession. Every single fix and flip I had, I made no money. And on some of them, I even took, I think the worst one, I took like a $10,000 loss, which wasn't too bad. But why work for free? And why give up anything is my whole thing. I'd much rather go in and make $50,000 or $70,000 on a project like this, where I had to dump the price of $100,000. Because if you fire sell one of these for a $100,000 offset, guys, you'll sell it and you'll still make money. How many people would much rather do that? Raise your hand. Okay. Why do I do this? Because since 1998, guys, I've built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes. We were doing over 60 homes a year at one point in time. We only did that for 2 years. And it was the worst business model. I'd never encourage you guys to do that. Anywhere between 4 and 12, that's it, guys. 4 and 12. You'll get wealthy doing it, and you'll make a lot of money. And if you exercise in this business model, you'll always win. You'll never lose, okay? At least thus far in my life, for over the last 25 plus years, it has always produced revenue for us, and we've always profited, and we typically never make less than 100 grand, okay? Even in the worst of circumstances, except for 2 homes that we sold in 2009. We made $48,000 and $52,000. It's because I just fire sold them. Okay, now, so month 7 through 12, you're building the house. Now, it's going to take about 2 months, guys, to be able to list and sell the house by the time you go in and list it and sell it. And then it's going to take about another 30 days for them to get their mortgage. So if we list and sell, list to sell, month number 12 and 13. And then month number 13, you sell the house. So month 14, you cash it, okay? Now, you're gonna make a $170,000 profit?
Yes, yeah.
170? Okay, so 170K. So we make $170,000 net, okay? So right here, we do 170 net, okay? That's month 14. Okay, how many of you guys in here went to college? Raise your hand. Okay, I went to college. I graduated from college. I still don't, I use my degree every day, but I don't use it to make money, okay? Like I tell my kids, I said, you use it to speak better, to be able to go out, be more articulate. I can't even say the word. That's why you go to college, be articulate. I'm articulate, guys. I can talk to you guys. So you go to college, guys, to be able to just, and I tell my kids, go to network, go play football, go to network, I like watch my wife with my kids, and I'm like, I tell my kids, I'm so hard on them. I go, you do your own damn homework. They're like, hey, Dad, will you help me? I'm like, yeah, I'll help you. Bring it over here. Then I start explaining it to them. I want them to learn it, and they go, Mom, can you help me? And then Mom comes up. And then I see my wife sitting on the couch, and she's doing algebra on the couch. And she's watching videos on the couch at night, in the middle of the night. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, Jacob has a project due. She's making this friggin', this COVID model. Like, she buys this little styrofoam ball. She buys a styrofoam ball and this thing. And the teacher at the end, so my son comes in, my wife meets him at school, and she gives it to him. She goes, there's your thing, there's your model. And the teacher goes, wow, Jacob, this thing is amazing. She goes, do you mind if I keep it so I can use it for my next classes? He's like, yeah. She goes, you did such a good job. He's like, yeah. So my wife was excited because her model got to stay with the teacher. So my son has a 4.0. 2.0 belongs to my wife, and the other 2.0 belongs to my son. But he does have a 4.0, okay? So the moms in here are going, that's right. That's what we do. The dads in here are going, do the damn thing yourself. I didn't have anybody do that shit for me. So I'm like, what? See my wife doing that. I'm like, what? I didn't have my mom doing that for me. Anyway, so the reason I bring that up, guys, is a college education. I kind of went off on a tangent, okay? It's all right. Okay, so a college education, the average person, guys, they spend $111,000 for a 4-year education, okay? $111,000. They spend 4 years in an institution, and it costs them money. They make nothing. 14 months, because people are sitting back going, I can't work for 14 months for free. You're not. You're going to keep your job because you don't sit in a lawn chair and you don't go out and watch your drywall guys when they're working, guys. I have 2 of these going on. Let me tell you my week this week. I showed up on Monday to meet the tile guys to explain to them the direction of where the tile was going to go, how I want the tile to sit. It took me 30 minutes to explain to them which tile went where and how I wanted the direction of the tile to run, okay? At the same time, I had the painters in there, and the painter wanted to know what type of sheen I wanted on my roof. If I wanted H-shell or satin or whatever I wanted on my roof, and where I wanted semi-gloss in my kitchens or bathrooms or wherever I wanted, okay? That took about another 5 minutes, okay? And then I walked around where the stucco guys were going. I looked at some stuff that I didn't like, and I took some pictures. That took about another 15 minutes because that took a little longer for me to inspect the stucco work. And then there was a few flaws on the drywall. That took about another 15 minutes. So I was on site for all of about maybe 40 minutes. That was a long day, guys. And then yesterday I went back because they locked all the doors. You can't get a friggin' contractor to lock all the doors and windows in a house if you friggin' pay them, guys. Like if you pay your contractor to lock your doors and windows, they will not lock your doors and windows. Unless, and only unless, you tell them not to. Then they lock every freaking door and window. And then the tile guys show up and go, hey, you got the keys for the house? And I'm like, no, it's open. They're like, no, it's locked. And I said, bro, there has to be a freaking window open someplace. Someplace there has to be a window open. Not one window open, not one door open. So I had to show up to put keys in a lockbox in the house yesterday because the garage doors went on. And so I literally showed up to do that. And I said, okay, I'm here. I may as well walk around. So I spent about 20 minutes walking around. That's 1 week, guys. okay? So 1 hour. Now, I recommend if this is your first home, spend about 1 hour a day, at least 5 hours a week, okay? 5 hours. If you do, how many of you guys can afford 5 hours a week to make $170,000 profit? Raise your hand. If you guys spend 5 hours a week managing this, you'll build a really nice home, okay? If you're only doing one, okay? Now, so it doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take time and it does take attention, okay? Now, we take that $170,000, guys, and when you get this and you profit from this, here's the thing. You don't spend that. You don't go out and buy a Rolex. You don't go out and buy a nice car. You don't go out and do any of that stuff. You go out and take your wife or your husband to dinner, celebrate with a $300 steak, and just get your ass back to work, okay? That's what you do. You don't spend it. I know it's going to burn a hole in your pocket, but you don't spend it. And you don't pay taxes on it either. You don't send the IRS a check. Even if your accountant tells you to, you tell your accountant, no, I need a different accountant. And here's why. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is not capital gains. This is ordinary income. When you have a business, guys, you have expenses. The expenses are the next 2 homes you're going to build the second you're done with this house. So those homes are going to need drywall. Those homes are also going to need roofs. They're going to need foundations. They're going to need stuff. And the receipts from those are going to be the expenses that you write up against your profit. So that way you have no income. Does that make sense? You're going to expense your next 2 bills. So, look, guys, I'm not, oh, by the way, this is for the camera. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. All right? And so I don't vouch to be one, hire one. I'm just here to tell you guys what I do, okay? I just had to do that for the camera. Okay, guys, now look, guys, we take this $170,000. Now, when you guys are thinking about banking, right here, you're going to start building on month number 14, you're going to start building again, okay? Now, here's how you do it, guys. Month 14, okay? We're going to start building 2. Okay, now, when we build 2, ladies and gentlemen, we don't start looking for permits here. The second that we get our permits, and we're in plan review here, right here, we get 2 lots. Okay, right at month number 7, you get 2 more lots. And what you do is you don't go in and you don't buy these lots. So if you guys are worried about the lots, your first draw on your bank loan will pay for your lot, okay? Once you guys understand how banking works, the bank loan will pay for your lot. Now, when you guys go in, you're going to negotiate. Because you're a closer and executor, you already bought 1 lot, you guys don't need to go very far. You can buy and build in the exact same area forever, guys. Once you find an area that works for you in the comps, you don't have to leave that area. From 1998 all the way till 2010, I stayed building in the exact same area within a 1-mile radius. Never left that area. Then in 2010, I had to leave that area because the impact fees were too high. The resale price for homes went down because of the recession, and I had to go to an area that didn't have impact fees. So I was able to save $12,000 on every build by just moving where I was building at. I went about 4 miles down the road in a small little municipality that didn't have like infrastructure, but it was a little mountain area. I still build there today. 2010 to 2024, I still build in a little municipality. The population is just shy of 2,000 people, guys. But it's just at the base of Santa Fe, kind of halfway between Albuquerque and Santa Fe, in this one little small municipality, and I just build one-off lots all over the place in there, and I've been doing it since after the recession, and I still build in there today. And I don't even leave that little area. So everything I build is 5 minutes from my house. I literally leave my front door, and 5 minutes later, it's either 5 minutes on a mountain bike or 5 minutes in my car. It takes me longer to get in my car back out of my driveway and go there as it does to ride a mountain bike down to the job site. Okay? So literally 5 minutes from my house. And I just stay and hover in that exact same area. And I just do buy lots right around that same area redundantly. You don't have to go very far. You don't have to continue jumping around. You can stay in the same area forever. And when you do, like now, when I call up Annette, who owns a company called La Puerta, I go out and say, hey, Annette, find me like 5 lots. She calls back. She goes, hey, I got this 10-acre parcel. You can probably get 5 lots out of it. It needs to be subdivided. You got to do a low-flow crossing across diversion channel. But I know you can build it, Jerome. She goes, I can get you a hell of a deal on it. I can get you all 10 acres for like $160,000. But I got like $200,000 in development costs. So what I'm telling you guys is, when Annette calls me, though, I tell her, just tell them I want this lot, this lot, and this lot. I'll give them $5,000 per lot for earnest money, and just tell them I want a delayed close. And then she calls the sellers, and she goes, I got a viable buyer. I got a viable buyer. They will buy. And they're willing to do a delayed close on it because I'm an executor. I close. And so as soon as you guys close on one, you guys will be able to tie up 2 and 3 lots with very little money out of pocket, and they'll even allow you guys to do delayed closes because you're an executor and you're a closer. So you don't have a lot of money out of pocket. Okay, so what you do is you take this $170,000, you take it to the bank. Now listen to this, guys. This is gold for lending. Okay, when you guys go to the bank with that $170,000, you're now going to apply for a line of credit. Okay, instead of doing a construction loan. Now it may not happen on your first home, but after your second home, you definitely need to go apply for a line of credit. But you go in and you collateralize this money against 2 homes. Okay, what the bank is looking at is they're not looking at your debt to income ratio. What they're looking at is your interest reserve. They want to know that you can service the payments on the interest on the bill that you're doing. And if you're paying $16,000 a house in interest, can you service the debt with $170,000 if you're paying $16,000 of interest on each house? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So will the bank be happy to take $170,000 in collateralization to do so? Yes, they will. They just want in deposits, guys. So you go and deposit this in the bank that you're getting lending from, you collateralize it against 2 bills. Now you go in and you get 2 bills going. Because I know a lot of people are sitting back going, Jerome, I can't afford one. Yes, you can. You just don't understand banking. That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I want to teach you guys, is how banking works. And then you sit back, well, if I can't afford one, how do I afford 2? You collateralize this against the second bill. Okay? Now, bill month number 14, 15, month number 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Guys, you're going to do 2 homes. It takes just the same amount of time. So month number 14 through 19, you're going to build 2. Okay? Now, it's going to take you guys 60 days to get those listed and sold. So month number 19, 20, 21. So month 20 through 21. What time is it, guys? I'm going over today. Sorry, guys. What is it? Oh, shit. I'm not going to do that. Cool. Okay. So we're going to do, on these 2, month number 2021, we're going to do resale. These markers are not too good, guys. Can you guys see this from back there? Can you guys see this or no? No? If you guys need to get up and come and take pictures, you guys come up and take pictures. The marker's not great. Where's my blue marker? What did I do that other one? See if this one's a little better. Let this one breathe for a second. Okay. So this is our resale time. Okay? Hey, bro, do you guys have any more dry erase markers by chance? Maybe? Yay, nay? Okay. So month number 20 through 21 is our resale time. Now, we go in on month number 22, we sell the houses. Okay? So the 3rd month, if it takes you 3 months because you were waiting for mortgages and all that stuff, you're going to sell the house. Now, that's 200. Appreciate you. I'll just keep it just in case I need it. Just in case this one's not that good. Okay. So we're going to have, let me try this other little one. So if we go in, oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now we have $320,000. Okay. Now we take 320 plus the 170. That's $490,000, right? Okay. So that's $490 net. Now, same thing, guys. You don't go in, you don't pay taxes on this yet. You're still expensive. Because what you're going to do right here, when you start these bills, you're going to tie up 4 lots. And then month number 22, you're going to build 4. Okay? Now, what you're going to do right here is you're going to tie up 4 lots right here. Right when you start building these 2 houses right here, and you go in and your bank funds those 2 lots, how many of you guys think that the seller of more lots, they want to sell more? How many of you guys think they want to sell more lots to other sellers? How many people think that now that broker wants to advocate for you because they want you to keep you as a client? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, right? So now you're leveraging your experience. Now you're leveraging everything that you've been working upwards. You're not sitting back. Guys, I can go in and I can go put a $5 million down payment on my West Camelback project. But why? Like, why would I give them money? You know, like I'm doing some lots with my son right now, because my son's gonna build a house this next year. And I told my son, I said, look, you keep your money in your bank account. You don't give your money to nobody until you have to, okay? And so I tell him, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter how much you have in the bank. What matters is how much of that you keep in your bank, okay? So I tell them, I go in, leverage other people's money, guys. Leverage their money. Leverage their time and take advantage of their time, their lots, their money for your benefit. Does that make sense? Because you're going to execute, you're going to close, and you're going to make money. But why give them any more money than you have to in the beginning? Does that make sense? Leverage. Guys, leverage is key in real estate, okay? And so now we go in and we leverage 4 lots. We start working through this process right here, but you're building these houses, okay? So you're building these houses, you're working on plan review, you're working on all of your, you're working on all of your permits for architecture, survey, your truss engineer, you're working on all that stuff. Then you go in, and as soon as those houses are done, you already have permits. So the second that those houses are done, boom, you turn dirt on another 2 and another 4. Does that make sense? Okay. So right over here, when you start build number 2, you come in, you're going to over here, you're already plan ready, you're permit ready. So right here on month number 22, you turn dirt. Now you go in, you take this 490. Same thing, guys. You do not go on you don't go out and buy a Rolex. You don't go out and buy a nice car, okay? I just met with one of my students yesterday, and I saw her car, and it's a nice little car. And I laughed, because I go, you know what's funny? Is I said, she's about to net out about $420,000 on a build right now, Nicole. And I met with her yesterday. She's getting her contractor's license. She happens to live in New Mexico, so I'm going to sign for her. I said, she works for me. She's getting to go get her contractor's license. She goes, I was the only woman in that entire class, Jerome. I said, good, go kick all those men's ass too. Okay? I told her, and I saw her car, and I go, and I saw Nicole's car, and I said, you know what's going to be cool? Is next year, next year to watch her, okay? And see where she's at next year. But it's cool because these women are freaking crushing it, guys. In fact, some of the women are even kicking some of the dudes' asses right now, which is really cool. Right, Ruth? Ruth knows. Ruth's where she's working with us. And so what happens, guys, you take this $490,000 and you collateralize it. Now you go in and you ask for a line of credit. And I would go in and I'd ask for a $2 million line of credit. They might deny you for $2 million, but they might say, hey, we can't give you $2 million, but we'll give you $1.4 million. Okay? Now, if you're paying $450,000 to get those houses built, you can build 3 houses off that line of credit. Right? Yeah? Okay. So I go in and I ask for a line of credit instead of a construction loan. And here's why. Okay, I'm giving you guys gold here on this stuff, guys. Listen to this, pay attention. Because now, time, you save time. You don't have to go through the underwriting process of every time you do a construction loan. You don't have to present them with a set of plans every time. You don't have to do any of that anymore. You're graduating, you're resumeing up. And so now you have a line of credit. So now when you finish and you sell your house, you just pay off that loan, and then you start building another home. You don't have to go through underwriting. You don't have to go through the scrutinization that you have to on every friggin' loan. Now, guys, the game starts to become fun, because now you're not waiting. You're not waiting on a bank. You're not under a telescope anymore. Now you're an independent, free-flowing business owner, and you put that money to work. You collateralize this against a line of credit. Now you go build 4 homes. Okay? Now, I know this sounds like a lot, yeah? How many of you guys think it would be a lot easier to do step by step if you're working with somebody and a community that teaches you how to do this step by step, day by day? Okay? Because today, you might sit back, and this is irrelevant for a lot of people today. But is it? No. It's very relevant. You may not think it's important to know some of this stuff today, but tomorrow it is. And tomorrow comes fast, really fast. How many of you guys got kids? Raise your hand. Damn, they grow fast, man. You sit back, and that kids will date you. And you really want to test time? Have kids. Because when you have kids, you sit back and go, whoa, man, it's unbelievable. You guys pay attention, because this stuff is more relevant than you think, and it's right in front of you. And you don't see it today, but tomorrow you'll see it and go, damn, I should have paid attention. Okay? So now, you go to a nice dinner, you take that 490, you build 4 homes. Okay? Now, it's going to take you a little bit more time. With 4 homes, guys, you don't need an infrastructure. You can do 4 homes all by yourself.
You don't even need an admin. If you have the right spreadsheets, the right software, guys, real simple. You spend less than an hour a day doing data entry on every invoice that you write. And if you just go in and show up one time a day for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, it might take you about 2 hours because you have to spend a little time in every house. So you might spend an hour to 2 hours a day. But now you're working 20 hours a week, you're doing 4 builds, and you're doing this on your own. Any more than 4, you have to hire somebody. Does that make sense? You have to. But you can do up to 4 of these a year all by yourself. If you're good at managing paper and you're good at managing people, okay? You don't even need any employees. How many people in here are self-employed and have employees? How many people are in here are self-employed and wish they had no employees and they can make the money they're making with 0 employees, right? Shit. This is how you do it right here. Now you manage trade professionals, not employees, subcontractors, okay? It's gonna take you 7 months to build these. You're gonna be, an electrician's gonna be waiting for a drywall guy to finish, is gonna be waiting for somebody in the sequence of events. So now it's month number 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. It's gonna take you at least 7 months to build these. So month number 22 to 28, you're gonna build 4. Now, it's gonna take you an extra 3 months to list and sell these. So an extra month, so it's gonna take you 3 months. So month number 28, so 29, 30, 31. 3 months to get these things listed and sold, okay? So month 28 to 31, you list the houses. List to sell. Okay, month number 32 and 33, you guys start cashing in. Let's say it takes you 3 months to cash in on all 4 homes. So now you do month 31 to 34. You cash in on all 4, okay? This is where you make your money. Now, you do 4 of them, guys, that's 596. 50, right? That's 650,000, 660,000. 660? 170 times 4? What is that? 170 times 4?
680.
680? Let's call it 460, 660. Okay? Your cost to build is actually going to go down, and your profit's going to actually go up the more homes you start doing within this model. Once you get over like half a dozen homes a year, your profit actually starts going down because your management starts becoming a little looser. Okay, you stay in here, guys. You guys start making. So if we do 680. My phone moving through my erasers. 680 plus 490. So that's 1,000,000. That's 1,700,000. It's 70,000, right? 1,070,000. 1,070,000. Okay, now, we got $1,070,000, that's your net revenue, guys. Okay, now look. That's actually 1,100,000, right? That's 1,170,000. You're giving any of that profit away. Okay, so $1,170,000. Okay, this thing needs to stay up here. Okay, now, how are you doing? In year number 34. Let's say some of you guys take a little longer. It takes you two months to do it. 3 years from now. Like realistic, guys. I'm not telling you guys to go out and make $1 million selling cryptocurrency in 1 year. Okay? I'm not doing that. This is a real business, guys. It's going to take real work. I'm not going to sell you guys a pie in the sky. There's going to be days that you're going to reevaluate yourself. There's going to be days that you feel like you wish you wouldn't have bought a lot. Okay? But at the end of all that, you're going to be thankful. And you're going to feel blessed that you did. Does that make sense? Why? Because it's life. And that's the reality of life. Life is not hard, but it's also not as simple as Instagram makes it seem. Does that make sense? This is a real business, guys. It's a real business that will live forever. And it's a real business that you can continue doing forever. It's not like a part-time deal where you can go and do this for 5 years and then you have to switch and do something else. You can do this for the rest of your life, okay? The rest of your life. And not only can you do it for the rest of your life, you can teach your kids how to do it, because that's what I'm doing right now. My son's going to build his first house this year. His friend Mike came to me. We were at Texas Christian University last Saturday. We flew into Dallas. We went to Southern Methodist University for a camp. Then we went to Texas Christian. Then we flew to Lubbock. We rented a car in Lubbock. We hit Texas Tech, and then we drove home. That's commitment, okay? His friend Mike comes up to me. His friend Mike comes from a less than affluent family. And what's cool is that, see, his friend AJ, Antonio, and him, his dad owns a roofing company, does extremely well. They have everything. My kid and Antonio have everything. And there's a kid, Mike, that comes from a broken home, doesn't have everything. His mom is a realtor. She watches my content. And she's at the camp. And they barely can get out to these camps. And so his mom comes up to me all the time. She said, Jerome, I love to go to Dallas. I scholarship them to come to Dallas. At the end of one of the camps, when we're leaving Texas Christian, Mike comes up to me and he goes, you know, if all this football stuff doesn't work out, he goes, at least I got one thing. I can have you teach me how to build houses. And what's cool about that is he was dead serious. So I thought he was like joking. So I like kind of like turned to him and kind of laughing, like, yeah, and I was gonna kind of, and he was like looking me straight in the eye and he was dead friggin' serious. This kid, like dead serious. And he goes, I'm serious. He goes, I want to learn how to build houses. He tells me like that.